for myself, I have to know exactly what a scene is trying to do, and I believe that I should be able to distill that into one simple set of words called the action.
When you're shooting, you are in fact executing. And it's not executing in the sense of you have prepared everything and now you just do it. In fact, the most immediate, intense manifestation of all the work you've done to build your character, if you're an actor, of all the manifestation of all that work, when it's at its most intense, most immediate, you're really believing it's happening, is only when you're shooting. But the foundation for that enables you to do that, is all done in prep.
I come from a school of filmmaking in which I think it's almost an unconscious premise is that film is made in the editing room. That's where you make the film. Everything you're doing before then is accumulating, designing, shaping, and building, but accumulating the raw materials you need to make the film in the editing room. So that means that in the writing and in your director's preparation, you're planning what you're going to edit in the editing room, and then you better go out and make sure that you shot those things you're going to need in the editing room. And it's actually the Russian montage approach from the 1920s, which was then embraced by British cinema in the 30s, by Weimar cinema in the 20s and 30s, and then also migrated to some American cinema. So our orientation is actually from the editing room backwards to what we're shooting. So the way I think about what I'm going to shoot is very definitely how things come together in the edit. Now, I will modify it once when I see dailies, and a new editing pattern will present itself, and I'll direct the editors to edit it that way. But it's usually pretty close to what I first imagined, or I at least want to see what I first imagined. Then if that works great, one hones it. If it doesn't work, you just change it and do something else. Editing is magic. It's where all kinds of things can happen, things you never thought you'd do before. Or I might conceive of a scene as it being a very complex, very fast-cut scene, intercutting static heads with a moving camera. And you get into the editing room and you see a high wide-angle shot that slowly zooms in, and you say, this scene plays in this shot without a cut. It's the most musical, if you like, part of the process. It's where you take, Tarkovsky called it sculpting in time. It's where you take the totality of an experience and it plays. It plays as a symphony plays. And the ability to manipulate and shape the rhythms, the emphasis, the story you're telling in editing is almost total. It's quite extraordinary. Making films is one of the most kind of, for everybody involved in it, from the camera department to production designer, it's a privilege to have found this profession and to be able to inhabit a sometimes very unpleasant, ugly, horrendous, sometimes very funny and dramatic, but definitely dynamic place for a chunk of time. And
as a director, you start having images very early on in a project. That's how a project becomes alive to you. And some of these images that occur in your imagination happen even before you're writing it. Some come up in the matter of, when you're writing a screenplay and something just pop in your head, and you'll have something, lock on it and you think that's really, that's an excellent thing to try and pull off. But the some images that just kind of show up even before you're writing the screenplay, when the idea is first forming, become really evocative and you hold on to them. And so part of the job in creating that world that's visually captured and visually presented is to make all of that be there.